Hey, Steve, you don't look too bright-eyed. You look bushy-tailed, though. Always bushy-tailed. 34 degrees, low tide at 7:30. T-Rex is ready to go. Come on, T-Rex, let's go. Maybe Steve will show up. Clear sky, light winds, radiational cooling last night. Looks like we have a little frost on the bark mulch. So another frosty morning here in the Northeast. Seemingly quiet weather pattern. Wednesday beauty. Uh-oh. Remember what I say about Wednesday beauty. Something's got to give on your Saturday, generally speaking. Not all the time. Close the door, Steve. Lots of talk about what's going to happen this weekend. Tim, did you see the GFS? Charlie. No, I don't look at the GFS. It gives bad intel. It'll steer me in the wrong direction. First of all, what's going on right this second? Look at that plane lifting off out of Logan. I can't even make it 2 seconds without being distracted. Whoa! Pigeons. Flybys. First of all, 24 hours ago, many people were waking up to the first accumulating snow. And as I said yesterday, that was part of that historic storm in Alaska last week. That 87-inch snowfall at Thompson Pass, east of Anchorage. How a piece of that storm broke off and raced across Canada. And it was fairly weak when it went by us yesterday. But now look at it. T-Rex. What's up with that? Get the frost there. Hair on the back of his neck. Look at the storm out over the ocean now. Rapidly intensifying, developing storm in the central Atlantic Ocean. Here's what it looks like on the satellite imagery. When weather systems go by, now all eyes in Europe are on that one. Historic storm from Alaska drops an inch of snow in New England and bombs out over the ocean and goes for Europe. It's all connected. We're all connected with the weather. Is that the same plane? Focus, Tim. Focus. Focus on the forecast. So the GFS pretty much had us getting a hurricane on Saturday. I only looked yesterday after everyone made me. Well, the GFS has given up on that. Why don't we go to the experts on hurricanes, the National Hurricane Center, where yesterday there was a red hash for a highly likely to develop into a tropical cyclone. Now there's an orange hash. Maybe that's not going to happen. Just like the last several red hashes we had for potential vents. Now there's a yellow hash over the Bahamas. That yellow hash is for a new storm that's developing separate from the one that's in the Gulf of Mexico now. Looks like there may have been some tornado activity this morning. At least that's what Cantori was talking about in the lower Keys of Florida. So the energy is transferring from the Gulf of Mexico to the Bahamas. And ultimately, that new low is going to be the one that comes north and threatens New England this weekend. It's going to be part of dual systems. We have to watch what's happening 2,000 miles in that direction also. Cue the birds. West of Seattle, there's a cloud coming out of the Pacific Ocean right now. That cloud is ultimately going to develop into a powering storm going across Montana and Ontario and driving up into northern Quebec. It's that storm from the Pacific that's going to ultimately merge with the storm coming at us from the Bahamas. Yeah, it's complicated. So the last thing I need is you barking. So in other words, our weekend storm is going to be a byproduct of something coming out of the Pacific Ocean and something coming from the Bahamas and trying to phase and intensify somewhere between Nantucket and Bermuda. And I'll tell you, the guidance is all over the place. The NAM has nothing at all, really. The GFS now looks like the most reasonable output after several days of trying to make a hurricane. It now says there's a low way out there, not enough to impact us. And now, what I use every day, the euro is the worst case scenario. So out of consistency, I am going to show the Euro. After all, about 3 days ago, the Euro did have a low pressure system near 977 millibars near Cape Cod on Saturday. And then it backed off. Well, guess what? Last night it ramped back up. Not quite that strong for Cape Cod, but here is the Euro. The Euro, there's the front coming at us from the northwest. And then there's the low and the front merging east of us with a 980 something low, not that far from Cape Cod, going into 970 something into Maine. Powering storm with storm force winds possible in Maine. Otherwise, even if this Euro is accurate with its forecast, most of the wind is going to stay offshore and there'll be just some heavy rain. For example, Boston, 1.2 inches of rain for the Euro. But I think the Euro is now the outlier. So we still, even though it's Wednesday's the day you're supposed to make the call on the weekend day, don't know what's going to happen on Saturday. So I'm going to go with the middle of the road. I think that we're going to have a front coming in with rain showers coming at us from the northwest on Friday afternoon, Friday night. Very windy. Yeah, we'll be skiing in Vermont. Will there be wind hold issues? Perhaps late in the day, but who's going to last until late in the day? And then rain at night, and then it'll turn colder and drier in northwestern New England on Saturday. Meantime, I think we do get some action in Maine, snow in far northern Maine, otherwise rain at the coast and wind lifting out very quickly. And then Sunday, new cold air comes in, and a colder front comes in Sunday with some upslope snow squalls for places like Mount Mansfield and Jay Peak. Mount Mansfield will be spinning lifts. Jay Peak opens next Friday. Oh yeah, and I'm going to do my first forecast for Jay Peak on Tuesday. Did you get all that? Can I show it again? Let's go to the 850 Prague. This is the temperature where blue is cold enough for snow and purple is very cold. Anyhow, after this morning, the whole country is too warm, yellow, for snow. Now you have the new front coming at us. There it comes out of southern Canada. The blue coming back at us Saturday on the backside of that storm. And then it turns purple briefly on Sunday. And here comes another swirl. Next week, another big ticket item. And watch the yellow come back north here after a cold Tuesday. Wednesday warms up. This is Thanksgiving. Storm, rain, snow. Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday night, mostly rain is how it looks. And then real cold air comes in Thanksgiving. And then the coldest air of the next 10 days is right there at the end. Purple near northern Maine. That's Arctic air. And it's coast to coast cold in Canada again. And the Pacific is still loaded. And a very stormy pattern will be continuing. So 2 main storms here. Threats Saturday and Wednesday. Friday night, Wednesday, Tuesday night, Wednesday. And it's all happening pretty quickly. I want to show the real big picture again. So we're going to kind of go over the same stuff we just went over. And you can see the low, watch the Gulf of Mexico first. See the low in the Gulf of Mexico kind of stalling and decaying, and the new one forming east of Florida. And that one comes north. At the same time, the front comes in from the west. Primary low this weekend is way up in Quebec, so it's usually a rainstorm. And then as the low goes over us and east of us, it's powering up. And then by Monday, it's a 959 low near Greenland. That's a phasing of systems from the Pacific and the Atlantic. Amazing. All right, now let's go to Tuesday. Cold air is here, but the Tuesday high pressure system is going to go to our south. And now finally that storm that was supposed to be a big storm, snowstorm in California, comes in. And that is what's powering up into Ontario on Tuesday night and Wednesday. That track is not a snowy one for New England. There may be some icy mix mess on the front side of that on Tuesday as it comes in. But I think the rain snow line on that one ends up in northern Maine also. So it's a wet, windy Wednesday before Thanksgiving with new cold air coming in on the backside of that. And then the stage is set for more wintry weather, possibly to set into southern New England. Now we're talking way out. Friday the 24th and Saturday the 25th. Probably something else coming at us again. So much going on. My fingers are very cold. T-Rex has been very patient. Frost on the compost pile. I did some shifting. I moved the leaves over there and mixed them up, making room for more. This poor little Rose. Thanks for trying, little Rose. And Steve is tangled up over here. So I don't really have any and more from yesterday. We did chase the sunset. A little of that. I'll untangle Steve. There's so much weather to talk about. And there he goes. So we are in the in more part right now. Let's go check the Montauk daisies. I'm never gonna prune one half in July and the other half in August again. The last hanger on, but for the most part, the part I pruned in August did not bloom. But the part I pruned in July bloomed beautifully. Now the birds will have their way with these seeds, and that's great. I always want to leave some seeds for the birds. And my forecast for the dill was totally wrong. I thought the dill was going to go on the first freeze, but it didn't. Some chard that's been eaten. Otherwise, we are in winter mode here. Frosty. Frosty cold. Not boring. Weather's never boring. Just may look boring out your window for a couple of days. All right. Have a sunset. After this frost. Rex so wants to get in there. I turned over the stuff yesterday. And no, Rex, let's not. Not good for the knee. Let's go. Let's go, T-Rex. Steve gets to stay out. Oh, the sun just hit the flag. We have long nights. 14 hours of darkness. Or more. Freezing. 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 And so, even though this is the warm-up, it's not going to be that warm. Tim, didn't you say you were going to go to the end more now? All right, here we go. To yesterday. Largo Elegance, escorted by the tugs Liberty and Freedom. Amen. .407, Tuesday, November 14th. Some interesting light as the sun heads for the horizon way too early. T-Rex, should we do some chasing? Chase the sunset? T-Rex, where are we going? Toward the sunset? You don't want to go towards the sunset? It's over here though. Look at the color. We gotta go this way. Yeah? Okay. Break? Nope, come on. Almost there. Just a couple more steps. There's the light. You see the light? Not too much sunshine today. At some points, though, it was mostly sunny. Most of the day, though, it was mostly cloudy. Rex wants to go this way. Into the forest. We lost a couple of good canine friends of out the door weather and more recently. Lola passed away kind of young last month. We love Lola. Albacore misses you. We all miss you. And then just a few days ago, I was able to hug Gracie. Help her get into the car, but she didn't make it through the weekend. 14 years, long, loving life. We miss you, Lola and Gracie. God bless. Time lapse. this way.